Here we're going to tie a little streamer called the Tarantula bugger. First thing we're going to do is just start our thread here and take it back to the bend. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take 2 pieces of olive marabou and we're going to even the tips up here so that they can blend together. We're going to tie in a tail. It's about as long as the shank of the hook. Tie that in with a couple of nice tight wraps. And I'll take my thread forward. Trim out the excess. And I'll wrap back up on top of it once more just to make sure it's nice and secure. There we go. Now we're going to tie in our rib, which will be just some small copper wire. Tie that in right along the side of the shank. Now we're ready for the magic material. It's just an EP Tarantula brush. This is the 1/2 inch. This is what I'm going to use for the body of the fly. And I'm just going to tie it in by the tip of the wire here. I'm going to take my thread forward. Now this fly we're going to use a Sculpin helmet. So I want to make sure that I leave a little bit of room up at the front of the fly here. So I'm just going to kind of gauge it, put my thread right where I want to stop. Then I'm just going to take this EP Tarantula brush. I'm just going to wrap it forward. And with each wrap I just basically stroke the fibers back with my fingers. This Tarantula brush with the EP fibers and rubber legs in it gives it a very shaggy, very sculpin-y look. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Nice dense fibers. So push a lot of water when you're stripping it through the water column. This is available in a lot of different colors. This one here is an olive and brown. The other ones I like to use are just plain olive, black, Sculpin olive. There's quite a few different colors. Black and purple is a good little color. Very easy to work with, much easier than using a dubbing loop. Then what I'm going to do is, once I get to the area where I want to stop, I'm just going to capture the EP brush, trim it out. I'm going to use the back of my scissors, since it is wire. Use the back of my scissors to trim out the excess. Then I'm going to make sure it's lashed down nice and good. Don't want it to fall apart. And I'm just going to measure real quick with my Sculpin helmet again. Looking good. Now the next thing to do is to add our hackle. I'm just going to use some grizzly hackle from Whiting. Grizzly bugger pack. Just going to tie that in. I'm going to take that grizzly hackle, and the first couple of turns that I'm going to do are going to be right up here at the front of the fly. Then I'm going to take that hackle and just spiral it back. This grizzly will blend into the EP fibers but still add a little bit of variation to it. I'm just going to take that wire, just very widely, nice wide wraps, bite through all the material. And I kind of wiggle the wire as I wrap through it. And once I get up to the front here, I'm just going to capture it. Trim out the wire. Trim out the extra grizzly feather. Just going to build up a nice smooth little head here. Now I'm going to add one last material here, if I can find it. What did I do with it? There it is. I like to add a little bit of guinea for a collar. Nice big webby profile feather. All I'm going to do is just strip out the base feathers, stroke all the fibers back away from the tip, tie it in by the tip. Now I'm just going to take that guinea, and as I wrap it, I'm just going to stroke the fibers rearward. This really makes the fly pop. You can use it in different colors. I like to also use red or like a hot orange for this as well. And I'm going to trim out that stem. Then I'm going to wrap back on this guinea here just a little bit. There we go. And real quick, just do a nice fitting here. I need to go back a little bit more. There we go, that should do it. Real quick, all I'm going to do is whip finish. Flip the fly over here. Take my brush on Zap-A-Gap. Add a generous amount to the head here. And I'm going to take that head. I want the eyes to face downwards because this fly will ride hook up. And just press them on there. Hold them there for a second. That'll lock it into place. And the last thing you need to do is to add the little eyes, little 3D eyes. And I just take a little tiny dab of super glue, stick it inside each of the eye wells very carefully. Don't want to add too much. If you add too much, it gets a little too crazy. It'll glue your fingers together. All I'm going to do is just take each one of these eyes and slide it into the eye well. These come with the Sculpin helmets already, so you don't have to buy them separate. And you just basically push down on them with your fingers, hold them there for a couple of seconds. They're glued in place. And that's a very easy, Sculpin. I call this the Tarantula bugger because we use a tarantula brush. Very easy to tie with that tarantula brush. You simply just wind it on. It's one of the easiest materials to work with. All the rubber legs in there will move when you strip it. Pushes a lot of water with those nice dense EP fibers inside of there. Great little sculpin for trout, bass. Use them for a lot of different fish, but very good western trout sculpin. And you can get all the materials for the fly at intheriffle.com.